For me, having beautiful flowers is all about preparation and starting early. And today I'm going to share with you how this grow light shelf is going to help me do that. And I'm also going to share with you which plants I'll be starting from seed for an early spring show. Hi, it's Steph. Welcome back to my channel. I'm already starting to look forward to the new growing season, and a plant that I'm going to grow for the first time this year from seed is Lisianthus. Now, this is a flower that takes a really long time to get going from the time that you plant the seed until it blooms. So it has to be started early. So I'm going to be starting my Lisianthus in January, and shortly thereafter, I'm also going to be starting some pansies, some dusty miller, and some alyssum, maybe even some nasturtium. My goal is to do all of my spring front porch containers with plants that I'm starting from seed. And to help me do that, I have a new grow light shelf. Now, this was sent to me by my friends over at Vego Garden. If you've been around for a little while, you know that I partner with them on projects. And I was really happy to receive this to set it up here upstairs in my home. Now, I do have a grow light shelf set up in my basement, but it is more utilitarian in style. And I wanted something that was a little bit sleeker to put up here in my home that will sort of blend in with my decor, but would still allow me to grow some flowers upstairs where it's nice and warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this built and set up, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Well, here it is, and it came together really easily in just under 30 minutes. I was able to do it all myself. All of the pieces just click into one another, with the exception of 4 screws that they give you that you tighten with an Allen key. And this size here, I think, is going to suit me perfectly because I can move it to a couple of walls here on my dining room. It is on casters, which makes it really easy to roll around, but I'm going to keep it here in this hallway off of my kitchen so that once I start my seedlings, I can keep a close eye on things. It does come in a couple of different sizes. This is the size that I chose, and one of you are actually going to get a chance at receiving one of these, but keep watching and I will let you know in a little bit how that's going to work. And you can see also that there are a couple of hooks here on the side so that you can hang some of your gardening tools. There is a cabinet at the bottom for you to store some things like soil, fertilizers, or even your watering can. And there are a couple of shelves that have these brackets that are adjustable. So depending on the height of your plants, you can adjust the shelves up or down as your plant's foliage grows. Now the lights. Let's talk about the lights, and then I have a couple more things I want to show you. So the lights are on a magnet and they swivel so that you can direct the light where you need it. These LED lights use very little power. They're very energy efficient. They're about 15 watts, which is as much as a small house lamp. And they also mimic outside daylight. They have blue light and red light technology, which is really helpful for the foliar growth of your plants. And there are different settings depending on the type of plant that you're growing. There is a setting for seeds, leafy plants, fruits, herbs, and greens. And the lights stay on for a specific number of hours depending on the plant's needs. So whatever setting you turn on, most of them are 16 hours on and 8 hours off. So once you turn them on, they're going to stay on for that specified number of time, and then they will shut off. Now the shelves, they have this lip here, which is really helpful to contain messes with water and soil, especially if you're keeping it indoor. It is very conducive to being in living spaces. So here on the top shelf, I currently have some house plants, which the days are shorter in the winter. So this is a great option to provide some supplementary light to house plants. And once I start growing my seeds and I need the shelves, I will start moving these back to their home. But for now, it's a great place for them. And here on the second shelf, you can see that I have a standard 1020 tray for seed cells. And this one here happens to be also by Vego Garden. I started using these last year, and they're a really high quality reusable seed starting set. And you're also going to be able to receive one of these along with this grow light setup. So keep watching and I'll give you some details. But for now, I want to give you some information on these seed starting cell bundles. So these come in 3 different sizes. And this one here has the 1x1 cell. They are a really durable plastic material, it feels like. They feel pretty solid, and they do come with a humidity dome. And what I think is really cool about these, and they also have this 10x20 tray to hold your water at the bottom and to hold all of your cell packs. But they have this chamber in the top of the lid that is an irrigation chamber. And so you would fill this with water, and there is an opening at the bottom where the water would spill into this center cell here, and it would disperse it into all of the separate cells where you have your seedlings growing. So I think that is really cool. So this one here is a tray of 8 of the 1x1 cells. They also have this as an option, which comes with 4 of the 2.5x2.5 cells, which are the larger ones, 4 of the smaller 1x1s. So if you wanted a mix to try out, this would be a great one to start with, because you can start your seedlings in the 1x1, and once you need to bump them up to the next size, you can move them up to the 2.5x2.5. So I would say this is a great option for a starter pack. And the third option is a jumbo, and this one comes with all of the seed packs, 8 of them, in the 2.5x2.5 size. Now, there were a couple of more observations that I made when working with these new Vego seed starting cells, and that was that they actually have these cutouts on the side that I hadn't noticed before, but these are actually for air pruning, which is awesome. Air pruning is similar to what you get when you do soil blocks. It's exposing the roots to air so that they will grow stronger, healthier root systems. Usually you get some bigger plants as well during that process, and the plants are more disease resistant and less likely to experience transplant shock when you put them out in the garden, which is excellent. They're also really thick, high quality plastic that seem like they're built to last. I put them to the test by standing on top of one of these seed cells, and they held up to my weight. So that's telling you something. And I also really like that they're stackable, because storing them in the winter, I want to make sure that they don't take up a lot of space. So I went ahead and tested the stackability of them, and look at this, they get pretty compact. So I'll be able to stack these humidity domes as well as the cell packs and the trays to take up less space. So after using these Vego seed starting cells and trays for full growing season, I can confirm that they're really high quality and they did really well for me. And I can see these being used for years to come. So if you're in the market for some new seed starting supplies for the upcoming season, consider Vego. I have been happy with all of the items I have received from them. They're really high quality and they're a great company. In fact, all of these items are currently on sale on their website. And I always have a Hooked and Rooted exclusive promo code listed in the description of my videos that you can use along with any sales that they might be running. To enter at a chance for a seed starting shelf and grow light system, as well as a seed starting bundle, all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel. It is free to do so. You just have to hit the subscribe button and leave me a comment down below. Any comment. The only exception is that the comment cannot say the word G away. if you know what I mean, because that brings out all of the scammers. So if you use that word in the comments, unfortunately, I will have to delete your entry. And that is it. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the seeds that I'll be starting in January. So as I mentioned in my intro, Lisianthus is one of the plants that I'm going to be starting from seed, and I've never grown it before. So this is going to be my first go at it. And I'm probably going to start it by about the second week of January. And I'll be sure to let you know. But some other plants that I have grown in the past that do really well with the cool temperatures of early spring are things like nasturtiums, violas, as well as pansies, and dusty miller. So those are all plants that I'm going to be starting from seed to do my front porch pots this spring. Now, last year was the second year that I grew pansies from seed. The first year I grew a variety from Baker Creek called Black Devil, and they were a really dark, kind of velvet looking pansy, gorgeous. And I still have some of those seeds left, so I will be growing those. And the variety of Dusty Miller that I've been growing for a couple of years now, after a friend introduced me to them, is the New Look Dusty Miller. So unlike the Dusty Miller that you sometimes find at the garden centers that is more commonly used, the one that has a very lacy and kind of filigree type foliage, this one has a larger foliage. I think it's much prettier, at least in my humble opinion. And so I'm going to be growing it, and it is super easy to start from seed. It takes about, maybe I would say, anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks before it's a good enough size plant to put out in a planter. So that is why I'll be starting them early. So if I start these seeds in January, the nasturtium, the dusty miller, the pansies, violas, and some alyssum, then I should have plants that are blooming in April. Now, alyssum, quick note about alyssum and nasturtium. Those two are super easy to start from seed. If you had to wait until February, I'm pretty certain that you could get blooms by April, starting nasturtium and alyssum a little bit later. But I would certainly recommend starting pansies, violas, Dusty Miller in January. And of course, Lisianthus. If you've also never grown it before and you want to try it for the first time along with me, let me know what your thoughts are. And if you have grown it before, tell me, how long did it take for yours to get going? How successful were you? And when should we expect blooms? From what I understand, they won't bloom until midsummer or so, maybe even a little bit later. So like I said, they're really slow growing, but I can't wait to see how they turn out. They're a gorgeous bloom with tons of petals. They almost look like a rose, and I think they're going to be really pretty. So on the 23rd, I'm going to use a random comment selector to choose the recipient of those items that we talked about earlier. And I will reply to your comment letting you know that you are the winner, and we'll also make a post on our community tab of our YouTube page. And if you're ever in the market for any gardening items, such as a raised bed, a retractable hose, or anything else, consider Vego. Not only do they have excellent products, but they're a great partner and always offering our viewers these items throughout the year. And if you're ever going to purchase anything, don't forget that in all of my YouTube videos, I have a Hooked and Rooted exclusive promo code to save you even more money on top of any sales that they might be running. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.